Hello, my lovely bunnies. Today I'm going to talk about a parasite detox recipe that you've never heard from anyone. You never will hear from anyone. Uh, this is what I've learned about parasite cleansing. Okay, so first of all, there's a lot of different types of parasites that you can have, and I have had some pretty severe, like parasitic infections, which some of them have almost killed me. Now, granted, I do a lot of traveling, that's true, but everybody does have parasites. It's funny that doctors don't know that, but a very simple way to figure that out for yourself is take a little ayahuasca, then see what comes out in your poop. When it looks like, strands of things, that's worms. Also, if you look at the studies on Toxoplasma gondii parasitic infection antibodies, 50% of Americans have the antibodies. So that means 50% of Americans have been infected by Toxoplasma gondii, which is mainly the main vector, I think, is from cats, but can also be other vectors. 80% of French people tested positive. That's just one type of parasite. So any doctor that tells you that, like, oh, you probably don't have any parasites, they're idiots. They don't know anything. Ditch them immediately. Unfortunately, that's what they teach in medical schools. That, like, first world countries don't really have problems with parasites in general. It's like they literally haven't done any research, and they're just teaching, like, based on nothing, like, out their ass. Like, anyway, by the way, nothing I say is medical advice or anything like that, because that would get me, like, in jail if I give medical advice. So I'm just saying what has worked for me. I had a schistosomiasis infection when I was in Senegal, and that was pretty terrible. I couldn't pee except for blood, and it was very painful. And so I was, like, trying to find what could work for that. There's one drug they prescribe for that called praziquantel, but it's not very effective anymore, and it also causes cancer. So let me see if there's an herb. And I found one study showing that roselle is able to very effectively treat this. So the funny thing is that they make roselle tea and they drink it, like, all day long in Senegal. Everybody's drinking this all day long, and they're always offering it to me, and I'm refusing it because it has so much sugar. So I just made it myself without the sugar, and and it cured me in, like, 1 hour. It was absolutely incredible. So that, there's I don't know. I don't think roselle works for intestinal parasites so much in my experience, but it definitely works for schistosomiasis and some other things. Really. Then there's let's see. I had a couple other terrible parasitic infections. I got one from deli street food. These were, like, really disgusting, bloody parasites. And what cured that was 1 tablespoon of activated charcoal boiled in water for 1 minute to make what I call holy water. That's it, and it cured it in an hour. And it was amazing. I couldn't believe it. And what else? In Malaysia, I had some kind of, I think it was a parasitic infection. I'm not really sure, but possibly bacteria. I don't know. But I cured that with Syrian rue. Now, by the way, technically, bacteria can also be parasites. People think of parasites as worms, but a parasite is just, like, anything that is, like, living off of you. I mean, so, but anyway, so we all have bacteria, viruses, and different types of like worms and snails and different larger organisms that most people think of as parasites. But it is true that probably most first worlders don't have the type of parasites which are causing them to go to the hospital. They will have the type of parasites that cause just long-term chronic illness, bloating, constipation, brain fog, just mental illness, like all kinds of crazy. impulsiveness. For example, Toxoplasma gondii causes impulsiveness, sexual and impulsiveness, especially in drug impulsiveness. So the best thing for Toxoplasma gondii is thyme, the herb, the culinary herb called thyme. And also, some of these parasites can cause, I mentioned drug addiction, and I have a friend who was an alcoholic for a very long time. He cured his alcoholism just by megadosing with thyme. He does have 2 cats, so, Toxoplasma gondii was for sure almost with him. I don't know what other parasites maybe have caused, were causing it. But anyway, so those are, now the Syrian rue has been quite amazing sometimes. Before I mention Syrian rue, ivermectin is a pharmaceutical, but it's sort of semi-natural because it's from soil ivermectin, created by soil bacteria, and then they modify it to make it ivermectin. And I have not found that to be effective for intestinal parasites myself, but it definitely cured scabies that I got in some Indian hostel in like an hour, a few hours. And the standard treatment for scabies is a very toxic cream called permethrin that you have to use for like a week, smothered all over yourself, and oh my god, I don't know why anybody would do that. So yeah, I mean, ivermectin, people have seen some amazing things from ivermectin for sure. Myself personally, is just that one thing that I found it useful for with scabies. But anyway, so Syrian rue and ayahuasca and labiahuasca, low dose ayahuasca, low dose labiahuasca, are the most visible, like, effective tools that you will see. You will see the results like immediately. So many people have told me like, oh, I don't know, I've never seen worms in my poop or anything like that. And first of all, did you really look at your poop? But no, it's because you haven't taken an actual real antiparasitic like ayahuasca. So I have a guide on low dose ayahuasca and labiahuasca. I mean, it's a little bit more risky if you've never tried psychedelics. Labiahuasca is definitely the safest and easiest one. But still, if you've never tried psychedelics, like, I don't know, I can't recommend that you take it without supervision or anything like that, because some people have like so much trauma. And then I personally have never heard of anybody who tried labiahuasca and had a bad time with it. I've heard of people having a bad time with it, most psychedelics though. But that doesn't mean that you can't now. In fact, even with Syrian rue, that same friend that I had, that the alcoholic friend that cured himself with thyme, he took 2 grams of Syrian rue, and for most people 2 grams of Syrian rue doesn't really do much, but he I mean, you'll feel it. It was a nice feeling, but he was addicted to kratom as well. Opioids suppress your emotions, and so if you're using something to suppress your emotions, like benzos, opioids, or whatever other drugs, alcohol, Syrian rue can really bubble those emotions right up. And so he experienced that, 8 hours or whatever, of just whoa, oh my god, all this stuff coming up. The labiahuasca is a combination of Syrian rue and acacia confusa powder mixed into cream. And the acacia confusa powder mixed into cream solubilizes the NMT, so you get the effects of NMT, which are adding a lot of kind of loving energy to that Syrian rue. So it's like Syrian rue is kind of bringing your emotions out, and then the NMT is kind of shooting love at them. So it's really a nice combo. But also keep in mind, Syrian rue has a lot of dangerous interactions with anything that interacts with MAOI. So, okay, what else? Yes. Now here's the main thing that I want to tell you that nobody else is mentioning, which is, well, actually, no, that's not true. Some people are mentioning, but zeolite. Maybe you've heard of zeolite. Zeolite is not going to do much for parasites in my experience, but it's a binder that's able to bind a lot of the toxins that parasites release when they die off. Now, there's lots of zeolite on the market. Almost all of it's trash and really bad for you because they're using the wrong particle sizes, and also they're not cleaning and remineralizing it. But so there's only 2 zeolites I could recommend. One is panaceo.com. They sell it from Europe and Austria, and they have the most extensive research. They spent $4 million researching the health benefits of zeolite over 20 years. So they're the oldest, best, most reputable company, and the cheapest for good zeolite. But they're in Europe, so it takes a while to get it from them. If you want to get it quicker, you can order from zeolitelabs.com. They sell ZeoCharge zeolite with more or less same particle size range. 1 to 10 microns is the safe range for zeolite. If it's nano zeolite, that's going to go into all your organs, going to just move stuff around, and just cause all kind of havoc. Liquid zeolite has almost no zeolite in it, by the way, so it's like pointless, and it's just going to cause more damage than it can help. And the interesting thing about zeolite is, with the good zeolite, if you have any bad reactions to it, you need more zeolite, because the bad reactions are indicating that the stuff is being moved around, like toxins are being moved around, but there's not enough zeolite to really mop it all up. So it's interesting, because I don't know any other drug like that where if you have bad reaction, you just need to take a bunch more. And so low dose Levuasca and ayahuasca with, at the same time, taking the zeolite is really amazing, because the zeolite, like, without the zeolite, you're gonna get these kind of like die-off reactions in your gut, and you're gonna feel kind of probably a little bad for a little bit. Sometimes it can be severe, and even like sometimes it can even feel like you're going crazy and you're dying. I've experienced that too. But with the zeolite, like, all that's gone, because those toxins are just mopped up. So that's a huge discovery that I've never heard anybody talk about, mixing zeolite with psychedelics. And but people do talk about using zeolite in general with antiparasitic herbs to mop up the toxins. Binders in general. I mean, they say binders in general, but zeolite in particular, I've found to be especially effective compared to other binders. What else? There's also, of course, like, a lot of people are taking like just wormwood and black walnut hull, green walnut hull, and clove, that kind of combo for parasites. It has been effective for a lot of people. Never did anything for me. I don't know. You could try it. It's kind of hit or miss, I feel, but if you want like the real deep cleanse, it's the low dose Levuasca with the zeolite for intestinal parasites and some others. So basically, summarize, there's various herbs for different parasites, and make sure you take the right zeolite, not just any zeolite, with your selected antiparasitic herbs, and see if you get results. If you don't get results, then you need a different herb. So I think I've said everything I want to say. Okay. Thank you. I love you.